The 2000s were a golden age of horror. From frequent Sci-Fi Channel originals to grand theatrical releases, a lot of big ideas came out that decade, some of which have stayed in the zeitgeist until now, and some of which burned too bright and no one talks about anymore. Today, we're taking a look at the latter. Check out 10 2000s horror films no one talks about anymore, but should. 2 years before James Wan's Saw came onto the scene and kicked off the murder porn genre proper, Fear.com had many of the same themes, but with a supernatural twist. Viewers of a website hilariously named Fear.com, because that's how the internet works, are hunted down and killed by their worst fears 48 hours later, with quite a bit of torment in the interim. It's a mix of mystery with a healthy dose of genuinely disturbing imagery, which still stands up today, although there are some frankly adorable instances about how 2002 filmmakers didn't know how the internet actually worked. Wes Craven's They falls into the category of films about inescapable curses, which, if you ask me, are the scariest kind. Lovecraftian horrors, flavors of alien abduction, and a very tense atmosphere throughout, starting with one of the most severely uncomfortable and foreboding opening scenes I've ever seen. They is still a great watch. In the Scottish Highlands, a military unit on a training exercise comes face to face with a pack of vicious werewolves. Using limited supplies, they hole up in a rural home to fight off the menace. A masterclass in practical gore and costume effects with a stellar popcorn flick kind of vibe, this action horror classic easily qualifies for a yearly Halloween season watch. The Tooth Fairy is real. Kinda. Darkness Falls is about another somewhat inescapable haunting based on a local legend in the titular town of Darkness Falls. For reasons I don't understand, this movie isn't universally liked, but I think it's a great haunting movie. Although not so much as scary as fast-paced carnage, vibe-wise it would make a great double feature with the original Jeepers Creepers. Raunchy, ultra-violent action horror feast sees the patrons of a desert dive bar besieged by an extremely hungry and angry group of mutant creatures. For how little people bring this movie up these days, it has a surprisingly famous cast with the likes of Navi Rawat, Eric Dane, Jason Mewes, and Henry Rollins. This is a crude, splatterhouse gorefest, and I love it. I don't mind telling you, however, you don't need to watch the sequels. Ashley Judd and Michael Shannon star in this Bottle movie, which illustrates just how dangerous a closed social ecosystem is for spreading paranoia and conspiracy theories. Shannon's character Peter comes into the life of Judd's Agnes, and while it begins as what would appear to be a fairly normal courtship, Peter becomes obsessed with the idea that there are tiny insects inhabiting his body placed there by the government, dragging Agnes along on his descent into madness. Bug is a masterclass of tension and subversion, usually classified as a straight thriller. If you watch as a horror fan, you won't be disappointed. P2 tells the story of Angela, who after working late on Christmas Eve finds herself captured by Seneca Crane from the Hunger Games, Thomas, the security officer in the parking structure. She escapes and kicks off a game of cat and mouse with some surprisingly unique moments considering it entirely takes place in a fairly mundane locale of a car park. You could add this one to your list for Halloween or set it aside for Christmas if you like. Splinter is a fabulous sci-fi creature feature where 4 people find themselves trapped in a gas station with a primordial, infectious beast lurking outside. The effects are great, the creature is unique, and the scientific approach the characters take to survival, although very soft sci-fi, is a welcome touch, all culminating in a watch you won't regret. 2009's Stan Helsing is in the mold of spoof movies like Scary Movie. It's equally as dumb and slapstick as any other like entries, but Stan Helsing stands above the crowd. It's really goofy, disgusting, genuinely funny, and has Desi Lydic in it, uncannily showing she doesn't appear to have aged a day in the last 15 years. I may have buried the lead a bit, but it was also spoof movie legend Leslie Nielsen's last movie, and for that, I'll always watch it during the spooky season. Pandorum is a futuristic sci-fi horror which takes place on humanity's arc in deep space. Waking up from suspended animation for his shift on the journey to a new world, and with severe hibernation-related memory loss, a man finds that the ship has been turned into a hellscape with warrior-like survivors battling hideous, hungry mutants who outnumber the humans by quite some. The CGI stands up where it's used, and evergreen practical effects are always nice to see in high-concept sci-fi movies. Plus, there are a few extremely phobia-triggering moments executed quite well, which still make me uncomfortable, even after 15 years of cramming horror into my eyes. And there you have it. 10 2000s horror flicks that people don't really talk about anymore, but should, because they're good. Let me know other movies you think qualify. If I get enough of them, I might make a commenter edition of this list. Also, let me know if you either love any of these movies or have never seen it and watched it because of this video. That's one of my favorite things to hear, because these lists are mostly about introducing people to things they might not have experienced. In the meantime, I'm Smokey Lyle, this is Horror and Cats. Happy spooky season, and I'll see you next time.